Hey y'all, welcome back to Mrs. Lynn's Cooking. Today we're going to make meatloaf. I've had a request, so I hope you enjoy it. The first thing you're going to need is a pound of ground beef. I use ground chuck, that way it's not as fatty. You're going to need ketchup, oregano. You're going to need Everglades seasonings, Worcestershire sauce, 1 package of onion soup mix, and yes, you're going to need Italian-style breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, 1 small bell pepper cut up, and 1 small onion cut up. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our ketchup. I do not measure, I just add it as to what I think it needs. So I'm going to say approximately a half a cup of ketchup. We're going to stir that up in there. Going to get it all mixed in. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to get it to where it's, as I told my son, you want it saucy, is what you're wanting. That way it has more flavors to it. And what we're doing is we're going to do the meatloaf ahead of time, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for at least 1 hour. And what it's going to do is it will bring on all of the flavors of whatever you're putting in it. Next, I'm going to take my Worcestershire sauce. And like I said, just eyeball it. This is probably about maybe a 1/4 cup or less of Worcestershire. Then we're going to take oregano. And we're going to use approximately, I'm going to say 2 tablespoons of oregano. We're going to take 1 package of the Lipton's golden onion soup mix. We're going to add that in. Now, we're going to take an egg, and we're going to put the egg in, 1 egg at a time in. Because sometimes you need 2 eggs, sometimes you need 1. These are extra large eggs. So we're going to start off with 1 egg and get all this stirred up in here to see if we need more. And like I said, we're just stirring it up. And you're getting it kind of saucy, as I tell my son. But what we're doing is we're going to add the breadcrumbs into it because that's going to help bind it. And as if you can tell by looking at this, I believe 1 egg is all we need. So we're just doing 1 egg. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my 1 small bell pepper. I'm using all of it. You don't have to use a whole one. You can use a half of one. But I'm going to use a whole bell pepper and stir it each and every time to try to get everything incorporated together. So we got this done. And then next, we're going to put in our 1 small onion. I'd rather have Valdeas, but these are just a sweet onion. And we're going to use every bit of it. So we've got our onion. Okay, and we're going to try to just mix all this up to where it incorporates to where when you go to bite into it, everybody gets to taste onion. If you don't like onions or can't have onions, just leave them out. You don't have to have them. But they do add a really good flavor to your meatloaf. Now, once we've got that, I'm going to take and put in my Italian breadcrumbs. And we're going to do this little by little because I want to see the thickness of how thick I want the meatloaf. So, and I may have to switch over to a hand instead of trying to do it with a fork, because as you can see, it's starting to bind up really well. And that's what you're wanting, because when you got a meatloaf, you're just binding up your meat. I'll add just a little bit more. And as if you can see, I just put a little bit on the top. We stir it in. And like I said, you're going to let this sit in your refrigerator for at least an hour. So it can take on the flavors of your peppers, your onions, your oregano, and soup or your onion soup mix everything. Okay. Now, next thing to do is we're going to put this into... Okay, now what we're doing is we're going to add our Everglades seasonings. I'm just going to sprinkle a light layer because it does have quite a bit of salt in it. And then we're going to mix this back up again. And I had an oops moment there for a minute. I thought I added this in, but obviously I didn't. But it's in there now. So, we got everything mixed up. And next thing, we are going to take our meatloaf mixture and we're going to put it in our pan. It does not have to be oiled. The reason being, you're going to have enough fat from the ground beef. And we're just going to mash this down in here because we want it tight. So we're going to mash it down in there. And like I said, we're going to let it sit for about an hour in the refrigerator to incorporate all the flavors of your vegetables and the soup that you put in there. The longer you can let it sit in the refrigerator, the more flavors you're going to get out of it. And then we're just going to take and we're going to put this in the refrigerator. Okay, now I've pulled the meatloaf out of the refrigerator. It's been sitting in there for 2 hours. Now we're going to take it to a preheated 400-degree oven, and then we're going to bake it until it starts to come away from the sides. Hi everyone, welcome back. We have finished our meatloaf. As if you can tell, it is starting to break away from the edges. Your meatloaf is done. But I want to let you know ahead of time, when you do go to cut it, even after it cools, that it's not going to come in one slice. It will be very juicy, and you won't need to add anything else to it. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Okay, we have plated up our meatloaf with green beans, mashed potatoes with brown gravy. Enjoy.